What's going on, guys? Matthew Moniz here, and right in front of me I have the brand new Microsoft Surface Go. I've been dying to get my hands on this for two specific reasons. One, this is the first time Microsoft has introduced a cheaper Surface product, and two, I think this could possibly be the best secondary device to carry or the perfect device for students. So before I jump into the box, let's just quickly go over the Surface type cover. This is the brand new type cover for the Surface Go. This one is the Alcantara model. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Alcantara, basically it's a special fabric that feels a lot like suede, making it a lot more comfortable to type on. Now, the problem with this material for a lot of people is the fact that it's a suede-like material. And to them, that means it gets dirty easily. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I'm a student and I'm taking this to class every single day and I'm eating ramen noodles all over this, I'd be concerned too. But because this is a detachable keyboard, at least you have the option to go out and buy another one a year or two down the road. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice, this is a lot smaller than the regular Surface Pro keyboard. They had to reduce the size in order to accommodate a 10-inch form factor. Now, based on my first experience, it does feel a little bit more cramped, but Microsoft did do a good job of spacing out the keys correctly. Even the touchpad itself, which is made out of glass, also is spacious enough to have a comfortable experience. Now, before I jump into this box, let's just go over the specs quickly. You can get this in two different sizes. You can either get this with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage, or 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. Both models are 10 inches and they both use an Intel Pentium Gold processor. Now, this processor has me concerned because it's generally not a very powerful processor. And I think most people who are looking at this laptop are not going to be opting for the 4 GB version. I mean, 4 GB with an Intel Pentium and only 64 GB of storage is probably not going to be a lot of space and a lot of power for most people. I think what Microsoft has done is kind of say, listen, we've released a product for $399, but we're going to upsell you to the $549 version because it's going to give you exactly what you need for day-to-day use. Here it is, the brand new Microsoft Surface Go. All right. So a little moment of silence here for the removal of the plastic. Oh yeah. Okay, this thing is really small. It's a 10-inch device, but man, it is crazy to see an actual Surface product in this form factor. I have the iPad Pro here to give you guys some context, and you can see here that the Surface Go has a smaller form factor, but the iPad Pro, this is the 10-inch version, is actually much thinner. So you can see the difference. There is definitely a huge difference when it comes to thickness. On the right-hand side, you have your audio connector. You have a USB Type-C port. Obviously, this is not Thunderbolt 3. And of course, your Surface Connect power connector. Then on the other side, you basically have nothing. But if you open up the actual kickstand, you're gonna have a spot for a micro SD card. Now, just like other Surface products, you get a rear camera on the back, which I think is fantastic if you quickly need to snap, let's say, documents. And on the front, you have a front-facing camera. Now, the other thing that you get with the Surface product is Windows Hello, and I think this is very overlooked. To put Windows Hello in other computers, it costs money. You have to put specific cameras inside of there in order to incorporate it. But to have that on such a small device is super convenient. So everything's finally set up, and the first thing that I noticed is the beautiful display. 1800 by 1200 resolution, aspect ratio of 3:2. So that means with the 3:2 aspect ratio, you're gonna get more vertical space, giving you more screen real estate to work with when you're doing productivity stuff. Now, 16:9 is fine if you're doing more media consumption, but on a device this small, I'd rather have that extra vertical space than horizontal. There is one problem that I did notice. When I was setting this up, the sound was only coming out of the left speaker, which means the right speaker is not working. Now, this is most likely just my unit, but I still want to mention this in case it's more widespread. So here's an example. When I play this song, you can hear it perfectly out of the left-hand speaker. When I move it to the right, you can still hear it just because it's coming out of the left, but it's obviously more faint. So just like the Surface laptop and the Surface Pro, you can also buy a Surface Pen to go with it. You still have the magnet on the side if you want to keep it connected, and of course pen functionality works perfectly. There's no specific pen for it. As long as you buy the Surface Pen, it'll work across all the Surface devices. Camera. for a $400 device, this camera is better than $3,000 laptops. It's insane that laptop manufacturers are still putting bad cameras on their devices. I'm still glad Microsoft is putting good ones on theirs. So that pretty much wraps up my first impressions of the Surface Go so far. I like the form factor, I like the size, I love the price, but I think a lot of people have to beg the question on whether the $399 version is actually worth it. I think most people looking at this are going to be tempted to buy the $549 version plus the Surface Type cover, which costs an extra $100, which pretty much puts it in the same territory as the iPad Pro. I think if you need a laptop first, a tablet second, you should get the Surface Go. But if you need a tablet first, laptop second, you're better off with the iPad Pro. Plus then there's the Surface Pro that retails for $799, which is also another great deal. So a lot of upselling going on here. Anyways, this is my first impressions. If you have any questions, hit me up on Discord. I will be doing a full review. Follow me on Instagram for any behind the scenes. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And every week on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I do a live stream. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.